Okay, guys, I thought I'd just give you a bit of an update about how I've been going so far. Okay, so we're starting to put together a few little bits and pieces. I still haven't had the chance to take the whole car outside yet and give the paint a bit of a buff and polish in the spots that needs it. Most of it's okay. There's a few bits that need to be polished up, but I'm going to wait until the weekend. That way it's had a whole full week to cure properly. In the engine bay, I think we left off... Where did I leave off last time? Well, all the wiring harness is in now. That's the junction between the front and rear sections. That's staying there. That's the wiper motor. Fuse boxes up here. Indicator flasher. That's all connected up now. Brake light. Haven't sorted out the front headlights yet, so I still need to order the headlights and sort out the wiring too. I'm probably just going to... I've got the terminals. I'll just build my own wires for those, but it depends on what kit comes with the headlights. Indicators, I bought the orange indicator glass to go on them because these ones, they're wired to have the park light in the headlight. So the red is the park light, and then one of these is high beam, one of these is normal beam. So they go to each headlight. Inside, I haven't really done much more yet with that. I've done a lot of work up the back with the fuel system, so I'll show you underneath what I've done first. Let me get the light. So what I've installed so far is the fuel pump. So there's the fuel pump. That's the inlet coming from inside the boot, and that's the outlet which connects to that pipe which leads to the front engine bay. So with the fuel pump, I've left the power disconnected for now, because otherwise when I'm playing around with everything else, it'll just keep on priming. With these fuel pumps, the way it works, you can connect it directly up to the battery, and then it'll start pumping, but you can feel it pumping air, and if you put your finger over the outlet, once the pressure builds up, it stops pumping, and that's pretty much how it works all the time. So it pumps fuel from the inlet to the front of the engine, but when the pressure builds up enough, it stops working until the pressure drops, then it kicks in again. So that's why normally when you turn on the ignition, you'll hear the fuel pump prime, then it stops, and then obviously once the engine's running, it'll kick in, and it needs to. And if it ever does a ticking noise, like it's pumping really fast, that means there's nothing coming into it. Alright, so that's the fuel pump. So that's all connected up, ready to go, just needs the power put on. And this particular fuel pump can be run on positive or negative earth, and mine's set up as negative earth. So let's just go back into the boot again to give you an overview of what we're doing in there. So I have got... turn that torch off. Okay. So we're setting up the twin tanks in here, and the way I'm doing it, I've ordered this copper pipe, and this rubber hose here is connected to the fuel pump, so that just goes to that point here. That connects to the left-hand tank, and then over the other side here you've got this end that connects to the right-hand tank. So the way that it works, it doesn't matter which side you fill up from, and then eventually the tanks will level, the fuel will level out. Okay, and I started to install the brackets which hold the fuel tank in. So it's a two-piece system, so that bit goes there. This second one, that bolts up onto the back of the seat, there's a bolt hole there, and then you connect up that one first, then slide the tank in, then do up this bolt here, and then that secures it. So I'll do a test fit just to see how we go, because I'm thinking I want to just give it a bit more paint on there to make it look a bit better. But I'll do a test fit first. The other thing I've installed now are the boot supports. It's just that because that'll be fiddly to do up the bolts at the back. here once the fuel tank's in, so I've just got them done up for now. Done that on both sides. The other thing too, the battery support, these hooks that hold it in, they came today. I still need to sort out something to support the battery to stop it sliding, but it's kind of okay how it is, just a little bit slippery, but that's not major, that will get done later. This tube here, that's the breather for the fuel pump. It's meant to go sort of underneath the seat, but you can't get the little breather end cap piece. That's not available anymore. And as long as it's vented back somewhere dry so moisture doesn't get into that pump vent, that should be fine. It'll still work fine. Alright, so I'll set up the GoPro and then we can try and get these tanks in. So I had a play around the test here. Some of the issues I have. I need to position the tank right, so when it sticks out of here, I think the cap, the petrol cap, needs to go on, and then when it goes on, it should look pretty much like that, not be at an angle like that. So it should be nice and level like that. So I've got to play around with that. I'll look at some images on the internet to see exactly how far that should stick out. The other issue too, these little braided hoses, the clips that they give you, once the hose is slid on the pipe that comes out of the tank, it's too big. It expands a bit, and these clips are just too small to be able to do up on there. So I'll get some more of these clips. I still need another one for the hose anyway, the petrol hose going into the pump, and then do a bit more research, have a play, and then I'm not going to film it, but I'll put it all together and then just show you how it looks when it's done. Okay, I need to go and get some food now. Okay, there we have it. I've got both of the tanks finally installed. I might make some minor adjustments later because like these filler caps, the way it sits, it isn't exactly straight, but remembering how they're actually meant to go, I don't know, so that might need a bit of adjusting later. But the tanks are sitting there okay. I had issues with the bolts too. Couldn't find any. There must be 1/4 inch bolts, but I've just used M6 on those instead. that seems to be holding okay. The other thing I've put in is a better the vapor line. So it's a much thicker one I've used. It's a rubber hose. So that's installed. T-connector here, and then both of those, or that tube, will run outside as well to vent any fumes outside. The other thing, I've changed over the hose for the fuel pump breather. That's the white clear one. So that just needs to come into the cabin. So that's pretty much it now. The connecting rail is this cop brass tube, and so it connects both tanks together, and then the fuel goes up this pipe here, then down in towards the fuel pump. So that's pretty much it for the back for now, apart from getting the boot lid done and then connecting the wires up for the lights, but we'll leave that for now. So I think it's like the next stage is most likely the headliner, but I've got to sort out whether I want any extra wiring to run through the roof before I put the headliner in. I'm thinking ahead. I'm not in any hurry to put a stereo system in here because I wanted to keep it as original as possible, but I don't know, down the track I might want to put that in, so having the wiring there ready might be a good idea. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching my videos.